Do y'all ever wish you could rewrite history? Past events are forever cemented in time, no matter what we try to do to change them. Despite that, history revisionism runs rampant these days. The Amazing Spider-Man movies are bad, don't let them tell you otherwise.
You're a fraud, Spider-Man!
History is there for a reason, and that applies to stories more than anything. Literature can grow and evolve, but the originals are meant to be preserved and respected. Are you ready for me to ruin this monologue with a furry blood demon? Sonic.EXE is one of the most infamous internet characters to ever exist, and as such, his story has been told and retold many times. Along with that, there are countless rewrites and remakes out there. Look up Sonic.EXE rewrite. Wow, people are unoriginal. But with all that said, today I want to focus on the main Sonic.EXE story. But not. The original story has been told and retold to death. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the official remake. No, not a game remake or anything by the people who got a rights acquisition for a fan character. What I want to look at today is something that I haven't seen anyone on YouTube take a look at. An official remake of Sonic.EXE by the original creator. A completely new story, new characters, new plot points, the works. But why? I mean, the original was so beloved that millions of people know what it is. So why the changes? Well, for starters, we need to take a look at the creator himself. JC the Hyena, he's a furry, isn't he?
Dang it!
So good old JC here was really proud of his creation, until one day he discovered that the mods of the Creepypasta Wiki, deciding that his story was not great, removed it and instead transported it to the funny counterpart website, the Trollpasta Wiki. Now, what is the Trollpasta Wiki? Well, to put it simply, this is where goofy online stories and interactions go to die. Copypastas, trollpastas, if it's goofy in any regard, you'll find it here. Once on the welcome page for the website, you'll find tabs to help you find out where you want to go. Well, that's telling. When JC found out about his creation's treatment, he went ballistic, creating one of the best rants ever published online. Guess where that ended up? After his futile attempts to get his
masterpiece
reinstated, he decided to take matters into his own hands and remake the entire thing. After all, it's been a long time, over a decade. So let's see what he made. Along with this nightmare of a redesign, a new story was forged from the heart of a dying star. It's a long, strange tale filled with trials and tribulations, but I have yet to see anyone really talking about it. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Today, I want to go through that story and see what, if anything, is worth looking into. I haven't slept in days.
Why does mankind exist? A question that has been a most frustrating topic among members of the human race since its beginning, long ago. And every man, woman, and child has had their own unique answer. To the religious, they thought God had created mankind in his image. To the scientific, humanity is naturally superior in the ongoing race of evolution and survival. To the average, everyday individual, the human exists for no other reason, except just become.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just... So this is just a quick introduction, the narrator of which isn't yet known. But let's be honest, we all know. Once past that, we're introduced to our new friend, Thomas Miller. Now, if you remember the original story, Tom was the main character. Tom here is described as a young lad starting out in college, and of course, is a kind-hearted intellectual with good grades and only a few friends. Of course. It's Friday, and Tom is heading back to his dorm for the weekend, ready to enjoy quiet relaxation. As he kicks back to relax, he gets a message from his friend Roger.
Wow.
Roger and Tom have plans to hang out playing Smash Bros that night, but then Roger mentions their friend Kyle. See, Kyle seemingly has gone absent as of late. I mean, if I was in this story, I'd probably go absent too. Kyle and Tom go way back, graduating high school together, getting into college together, all that jazz. But the story here wants to make it clear that Kyle is reckless. Tom is concerned for his 3-week absent friend, of course, but decides to handle it tomorrow and do more important things. Like practicing his chain grabs. Pulling out Smash Bros. Brawl for some reason, he sat the game by the TV for later that night, and then proceeded to study Kyle's appearance for some reason.
Kyle was a bit taller than Tom, had shorter, more blondish hair, and at the time, wore a red shirt with black jeans.
Thank goodness we got that cleared up. Tom then proceeds to convince me more that he shouldn't be near society when the story, quite literally for no reason, expositions the plot into existence.
Tom loved video games. games, and was a bit of a Sonic the Hedgehog fan like a lot of other people. He liked the newer games, but also didn't mind the classics. He never played any of the hacked games that sprung up on the internet from time to time, and never saw any real reason to do so.
The next day, Tom made his way towards Kyle's door. But after no response from Kyle, Tom headed back to his own room. But next to his door, there sat a package with a note. You walked right past it. This is where we start to get into more familiar territory. The letter starts out normal. Hello, how are you? Sorry for being gone. All that type of stuff. But as the letter goes on, the writing becomes more scrambled and jittery. The story tries to act like it's because he wrote it in a hurry, but I'm convinced it was because he was thumb wrestling a gorilla. The letter then went on to say that Kyle had bartered for a great game that no one has ever seen before, and Tom had to try it. Then the letter just ends. Annoyed by the nature of the letter, Tom then moves on to the package, opening it to find a CD case. And then there's a really long explanation for some reason, all just to say, there's an X on the CD. Joyous day.
An X? Tom thought with a scoff.
Tom discards the letter and disc for now, taking a galaxy brain eye-opening shower, where he has strangely deep thoughts about basically nothing. And then it's the next day. Wow, that was an intense shower. Tom sat in his room thinking about Kyle. Get a room, gosh dang. When he suddenly gets a knock on the door. Assuming it's a friend, he nonchalantly opens the door, only to find a disheveled detective.
I'm Detective Derek Green. Are you one of Kyle's friends?
Derek asks for some reason, as there's no way he could have known that. Tom follows Detective Derek towards Kyle's room, the entire time asking all the basic questions. You know, how long have you known each other? When did you last speak to him? That sort of thing. Tom asks what could possibly be going on. So Derek reluctantly explains that the cops were called to investigate an unsavory smell emanating from Kyle's dorm room. Oh my gosh, he really is a Sonic fan! Tom is confused as of course Kyle smells weird. What does that have to do with the cops? This leads them into Kyle's room. A complete mess. Trash thrown around, furniture flipped, a real tornado. But what stood out was a gurney being carried out, covered by a sheet. And here's possibly one of my favorite parts of the story so far. The cop says,
See for yourself.
Uncovering the body, revealing Kyle dead with his jaw unhinged like a snake. Bro, what? Imagine a detective takes you to a crime scene and without warning goes,
Hey, you wanna see something cool?
What type of sick freak does that? Do you get off on torturing victims, Derek? Do you think that's funny, Derek?
Derek, you are a selfish jerk.
Anyway, that's the end of part 1. Part 2 picks up with Tom sitting in an interrogation room. Still in shock, he stares at the table and thinks to himself,
How did he not see the signs?
the signs? How did you not realize your friend had his jaw snapped off? I don't know. Maybe because that's not a normal thought. As he sits here thinking he could have, I don't know, Charles Xaviered Kyle, Derek and another detective come in and instead of, I don't know, interrogating like police would actually do, they flat out say they know it wasn't his fault. How do you know? You haven't done anything yet. After this, Derek then proceeds to show an uncleared suspect evidence of an ongoing case in the form of photos of other victims, all dead with their jaws broken, the same as Kyle. One line in here that makes me laugh the more I read it is when they ask Tom what his last conversation with Kyle was like. Kyle had been telling him about this game he bought, but didn't give any details. And what's their response?
Well, it's unlikely that a video game could have killed Kyle.
Why would you say this? I know you're trying to set up the plot and all that, but what cop is gonna go, well, the guy's face is ripped open? Wait, didn't you buy Elden Ring last Thursday? So stupid! One more line in the interrogation room I found hilarious is where Derek gets asked what he makes of the situation, and his response?
Well, I say what happened to your friend and all those people is a horrid thing that should never happen to any human being, even if any of them are criminals. The way I see it, whoever is doing this is pretty much a freaking psychopath.
Pretty much? What do you mean pretty much? You're the detective, you're supposed to know this stuff. Judge, is he guilty? Well, I don't know, man, pretty much, I think so. I'm not really sure. What do you mean pretty much? In what world is that an acceptable answer? Is he a psychopath or not? I think the obvious answer is pretty much yes. Dang it, now you got me doing it. Dude, I had more written. I had a lot of stuff I could keep going on. I had so much more to edit, but I'm stopping here. What do you mean pretty much? Well, I think the story is pretty much done. That's where I'm at. In no world is this acceptable story writing. I was told that this story was far better than the original, and yet here I am scratching my head, barely making it through a quarter. Gotta stop and drink some water real quick. You know what, JC? I'm glad your story failed. I'm glad glad it ended up on the Troll Pasta Wiki. I didn't even go over the horrible things you've done as a person. I just went ahead and talked about your garbage story. And you know what? Good thing to know. You made 2 garbage stories. Great. Super excited. Super happy. I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Happy Halloween, everyone. I'm gonna go die or something. But, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Man, I sure hope this video doesn't end with a jump scare. Ah!